morning, my group hug friends. This is Toni Julian here, and I'm excited because this week I'm kicking off our week of summer smoothies. So every day for this next week, I am going to share a favorite recipe with you that is healthy and that will keep you full. And it's all based on, the macro balanced diet, which is making sure that you get enough lean protein, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats in every meal. And what that does is it helps you actually stay fuller for longer. You can probably hear my little doggy kind of going crazy in the background, so we'll ignore him. Anyway, so today is my favorite smoothie. I will eat one once every, probably 3 times a week, something along those lines. And so the one today is with mixed greens and almond milk and some really, really good ingredients. And what it does is it combines antioxidants, it combines phytonutrients, so you just get tons of really, really good ingredients. And so what I want to do is I want to go over the nutrition first and the ingredients, because it's so important. Like a lot of smoothies, if you go to Jamba Juice or whatever, you have to really be careful when you make them, because if it's just pure carbohydrates and maybe there's a little bit of protein in it, you want to make sure that you have that balance so you can keep your blood sugar stable. And I always believe that everyone should eat like a diabetic so they don't become one. I mean, we all should do this to our bodies so we are, improving our body composition, maintaining muscle, staying lean as much as possible and strong, and able to fight off disease. So many good reasons. Okay. So first of all, I want to start with a little bit of a talk about the protein and the nutrition around that. So in every smoothie, it is built around protein for me. And what I love, I have 3 different go-tos, and I just want to explain kind of the differences between them. Maybe you have a favorite, but in all cases, I like proteins that don't have a bunch of junk in it. So as clean as possible, fewer ingredients, no artificial flavors, things like that. So there are 3 different kinds. One is a whey protein, and whey proteins are, in my opinion, the very best because they are the most bioavailable, which means that your body is going to utilize all of those essential amino acids that are a part of that. It is considered a complete protein, and your body absorbs it. So that is the absolute best thing. Next is would be plant proteins, and I'm going to talk about some brands, although please don't feel like I'm recommending them. I'm not. These are some that I use that I think are clean and healthy, but certainly do your own research, and I'm sure there are other products out there. These are just ones that I found that have been my go-to. So this one is Orgain protein. This is a plant-based protein, and what I love about this is that plants aren't necessarily better than the whey protein in that way. Plants by themselves, if you got a pea protein, it is not a complete protein. So companies like Orgain are smart. Typically, they will combine different kinds of plant-based proteins to make it complete. So I would recommend against going with just a pea protein or brown rice protein or something along those lines, because it's just for vegetarians, you have to combine beans and rice to get that complete protein. It's the same thing with plant proteins. It's the same concept, the same science behind it. Okay, so if you do go with a plant protein, a couple of things. One is you have to use more to get those protein grams up because it's not as dense, right? And just make sure it's a complete protein. And then the other thing is plant proteins are a little bit grainy, and I think that comes from the the brown rice protein in particular is a little bit grainy. So there's a bit of a flavor difference. I prefer, my all-time favorite is whey protein, the cleanest kinds, because it doesn't have that flavor. Another protein that is available that you could use is, it's like a beef broth protein. It's an animal protein. It's also really healthy and good for you, typically, unless of course, read the label, unless there are other things in it. But these types of proteins have a little bit of an umami flavor, so you may or may not like that in a smoothie. I find that it's a little overpowering, so I think it's better for broths and soups and things like that. So that is the proteins. There's another ingredient that I use that I want to give you a heads up on, and that is a collagen peptide. And you've probably heard a lot about collagen peptides. And it is another source of protein. It is a complete protein. But what I love about it is that the collagen that is in here, that it is made from, is a building block of our hair, our teeth, our nails, our joints, right? So the collagen in our bodies. The science is not completely there yet. I don't believe that they're saying consume this collagen and you will be able to replace the collagen in your body. I just think it helps. I notice my joints feel a little bit better, my nails feel better. They're growing out stronger, especially during COVID. I have all my own nails now and they feel fabulous, okay? I think because of the collagen. And what this does is this boosts the protein that you're already using. So those are the proteins. I think they're all really good options, but again, you could find your own proteins, do research. Just make sure they're clean, that there's not a bunch of stuff in it. Okay, so the first thing I do, this is it's an antioxidant smoothie. I eat this about 3 times a week, and I do it because it helps me get antioxidants and phytonutrients and protein and everything into my diet, and just like it's packed with nutrition. It's not going to taste like a milkshake, I'll just tell you that right now. It is really good, but you're not going to go, oh, that was like dessert. It's not that at all. All right, so anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to take 1 cup of almond milk. And I like almond milk simply because there's no added sugars in, like this brand I like, it's Silk, no added sugars, no carrageenan, and it's 40 calories per cup. Regular milk is about 80 calories for non-fat milk. So it's helping kind of reduce the calories. I just use this as kind of a thickener. It just makes it creamy. So I'm gonna add 1 cup, and I've got my little measuring on my very loved, very used Vitamix, my friend. All right, so 1 cup of almond milk, and we're going to take 1 cup of mixed greens. And what I like to do is I take the mixed greens that I get, you know, the organic greens in these large plastic containers. And once I get it, I take about half out and I'll put it in a freezer bag, and I will just throw it in the freezer because I always love to have mixed greens in my smoothies. Or you can throw them in omelets and things. But the nice thing is we're never going to get through all those mixed greens. It's just this huge condensed massive greens, and you know, I certainly can't get through all of that. So I love having this. So I just take a cup of this, and it's been out for a few minutes, so it's a little bit wilty, unfortunately. Okay, so 1 cup of mixed greens. Sometimes I just take a handful, you can kind of wing it. Then I take 1/3 cup of mixed berries, and the reason I don't use more than this is really good for all the antioxidants, which help you fight those free radicals that can turn to cancer, right? So mixed berries are wonderful. When I choose a fruit, I usually choose berries for that reason. And some of our other recipes that we'll be doing later during the week, we will have other, you know, other fruits and things, which are all great, like variety is wonderful. Hey, Clorinda. No, it's Christine. Hi, nice to see you. So anyway, okay, so 1/3 cup of mixed berries. And I love cinnamon, and the reason that I love cinnamon is it helps you regulate your blood sugar. So, and I love the flavor, and it also can act as kind of like a natural sweetener. So if you like things a little bit sweet, you can add some cinnamon. You could do maybe 2 teaspoons or so. I just, like, I can't overdo cinnamon. So I give it a big squirt because I just think it's wonderful, and what can I say? It's so good. All right. So those are the complex carbohydrates that we've put in so far. So we've got our berries, our almond milk, and our mixed greens. And then what I do is I use Flaxseed Meal, and this is where our healthy fats come into play. Flaxseed Meal is wonderful, and it has to be meal. It has to be ground, otherwise your body can't break up those flax seeds, so you get the nutritional benefit from it. But I use 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal because this gives you like 150% of your omega-3s for the entire day. Can you believe that? So omega-3s are your healthy fats. It helps, what it does, it helps like lower your saturated fat, your LDLs, and helps raise your HDLs. All right, so I always do this. The other part of this is, you know, we go back to those balanced macronutrients, is when you add to your carbohydrates, when you add protein, when you add healthy fats, it slows down the metabolism, it slows down the breakdown of those foods so that you stay fuller longer. So like this entire smoothie is only 280 calories, which is great for a meal. It will keep you full for way longer than if you just have like some fruit and some protein in it or something like that. So we're going to do that, okay? Next, I put my ice cubes in. I always put a little bit more than I need to, so I'm going to back it off today. I'm going to do like 4 ice cubes. Okay. And I'm going to blend it. It's going to be really noisy. And what I'm doing intentionally, I'm blending it kind of for a while, and then I put in the protein and the collagen peptides after. And the reason for that is that when you add that in, it actually froths. It makes your smoothie. If you ever start out with a smoothie that's like this, and by the time you're done blending it, it's up to there. And then you eat it and you're like, gut bomb, I am so full. So anyway, that's why I add the protein after. So we're going to go ahead and just give it a blend. It's going to take a minute, so please be patient. And I start at low, and here we go. Okay, so that is great. So I can tell already it might need a little bit more ice. But what I'm going to do is add the proteins in now, and I'm going to start with the collagen peptides. And what I like to do, maybe don't do this at home, this is what I do. I like to pour the protein in while it's blending, but it's on the lowest setting. And that way, like, proteins tend to stick all around the edge, and it's just hard to clean up, and I feel like I'm not getting all my protein, I'm wasting some. So I'm going to just take 1 scoop of the collagen peptides, and this adds like 10 grams of protein. So this is great. So overall, the protein in this is going to be probably around 30 grams, which is about what we need like 3 times a day. So that's perfect. So I'm going to turn it on just low. And there's a little vortex on the inside, and that's when you know your smoothie is like the perfect consistency, is when it's not too runny, but there's enough of a pull on all those ingredients, so you're getting this vortex down the middle, which is great. All right, now I'm going to add my Orgain protein powder, and again, this is plant-based. This is not my favorite. I'm just out of my regular whey protein. That would be number 1, this would be number 2, and then the bone broth proteins would be my 3rd choice for a smoothie, just because of bioavailability. So this is a heaping table, 1 heaping scoop, which it calls for. Enough to blend it, and that is all good. Okay, so we talked about all the nutrition, and let me just show you. This is just going to be so delicious looking, and it probably could use a little bit more ice, but if you add more ice, then you need to add more liquid, and you're going back and forth between trying to make the perfect smoothie. So this is it. It's about the right portion for me. Like, you can always change it up, but it is beautiful. It is violet. It's all these beautiful antioxidants. And phytonutrients. There are greens in here, so if you have kids that won't eat their vegetables, this is a great way to actually get them to do that. So here it goes. Isn't that so pretty? It's like a beautiful, beautiful violet color, right? And it's got all the protein, balanced macronutrients. It's refreshing on hot days like this. And I know, let's see, Debbie, hi Debbie. Yeah, we are in the midst of fires and heat waves and all kinds of crazy stuff. So this is a little bit of normalcy in our kind of a crazy California neighborhood here. I'm going to just share with you some nutrition information about this, because this is really exciting. This is why we eat, right? We want to nourish ourselves, do beautiful jobs for our skin, right? Stay healthy, avoid disease. So this particular shake, I'm going to write the ingredients down on this post, and then also on my website, which is at tonijulian.com. You can find, I'm going to have all these recipes there for you. This particular one in this proportion is 282 calories. So that's exactly the right amount that we need. It has 16 grams of fiber, which is really, really high, right? You get all those fruits and vegetables in there, and that's 75% of what somebody my size needs. Anyway, I'm like 5'3", about 5'3". So if you're kind of in that range, this just gives you some proportions. I'm a nerd, I do reports, okay? It gives us 56% of the B2 that we need, and 150% of B12, which is like what gives us energy and keeps us strong, which is great. 150% of vitamin D, which is wonderful, 44% calcium. And then the fats, this is wonderful, and this is so good for everybody, is the amount of fat that's in here, it's 8 grams, and that's not high. You know, if you look at ratios, you look at proportions of balancing out your macros, you want that fat in there to help satiate you and slow down that metabolic breakdown of these foods, so you have like more of an even blood sugar over hours and not just like a spike. Like if this was just fruit, you would have a big spike. Okay, so this is really good, and what's wonderful about this is there are no saturated fats, no trans fats, of course. I would never do that to you. But this is just wonderful because it has 144% of the omega-3s that you need in a day. All right, those are those healthy fats for you to get your HDL up and your LDL down. And that's kind of hard to do as we get a little older. The amount of protein in here is 33 grams, so that is phenomenal. Okay, so if you have comments, if you have requests, I would love to hear from you. Are there certain ingredients that you love that you'd like to see me make a custom smoothie for you for this next week?